Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you're watching us from in this world, and welcome to mid-morning show. Today, my name is Brian Monda, and today I'm holding up for Noah Nasiali, who gave me his shoes to fit on. So it's quite a pleasure. I will walk you through the journey of pig farming today. First, from point of experience and also from a point of research. Today, I want us to handle a very key topic while starting pig farming. I want us to talk. We've always said, the basics of starting a pig farm, venturing into the market. But then there are those things that pig farmers won't tell you, because wajua kuna zile vitu zenye somebody went wrong, somebody did right. People just tell you what they did right, but then there are things that they won't tell you until you venture into the business itself, and you can feel and you can see it. You can see the repercussions, the impact of it. So today I want to speak from an aspect of experience as a pig farmer, as a young pig farmer for that case. And also above that, I want also to speak from a point of research, the research that I've done before starting, and also in the period that I've also been part of the pig farming business in the country. And I want us to go straight to the point. There are very many things pig farmers do not tell you while starting your business or even running your business until you sit and learn and learn from your own experience. I want us to start with this. While buying your pigs, first thing to consider is always the breed. But then what they won't tell you, because also people are here to make money and for commercial purpose, they won't tell you that not every breed is so good for every farm and for every stage of your farm. So I would say close to 1 year ago, I decided to venture into pig farming. And I decided to do some extensive research, understanding every pig farm with its DNA. It's quite interesting that not everything that works in your neighbor's pig farm will work in your farm. It's very interesting. Every farm comes with its own DNA. So what you need to do is create your DNA in your farm. By DNA, I mean that from the breed, from the feeds, from even the water systems and everything. Not everything will work. So when you talk about breeds, there are breeds that don't do right. I'll dig deeper into these breeds. For example, Durocs, male Durocs and female Durocs, they give weight differently. Now, female Duroc is a type of breed. Now, a Duroc is one that is always ever seen kale kanguruwe kenye kanakwaga white and black na some strain of brown. That's a Duroc. So a Duroc in terms of a mother is so bad. I won't lie to you. And sorry to any farmer who is watching and listening to me, but deep down that Durocs don't make so good mothers. But then what happens when you have a Duroc in your litter? Uko na nguruwe, maybe ulileta nguruwe ilikuwa imezaa some Durocs which are female. What happens to them? They don't make so good mothers. So what you got to think is maybe sell them as meat, because Duroc, the advantage of a Duroc is how fast it puts weight. Durocs put on weight very fast. But then a Duroc male brings in a different dynamic into the conversation. A Duroc male does put on weight so fast. And actually, once you give your gilt or your sow a Duroc male while serving it, what happens is the litter that comes out of it, ama wale watoto wenye wanatoka kutoka kwa this combination of a Duroc and quote unquote any other breed that we're going to speak ahead later, which is the female version. The kids that come kutoka kwa huyo mama na kutoka kwa huyo baba, they put on weight very fast. So as a farmer, and while thinking of starting, today I'm going to emphasize the importance of research. Well, before you can make any moves, before you can decide to start any pig farm, you can decide to add pigs in your farm, it is very important to know that durocs as mothers, they don't do so well. Why they don't do so well? It's because they have very poor mothering ability. Again, they'll bring you a very small litter size. Mothering ability ni a good mothering ability. Utaona nguruwe ikizaa inakaa ikiwa inanyonyesha watoto wake. Hata the milk it produces ni nyingi sana ya kusaidia hata watoto wake wakue na wakue haraka sana. But then once you have a duroc mother, it's poor that milk production, and also apart from milk production, it's also hata ile tabia kupea kukubali hata watoto waweze kunyonya pia, to breastfeed. That's why utakuta nguruwe imelala hivi, badala nguruwe ikiwa inataka kunyonyesha inapaswa kulala hivi, so that the mammary glands can be this way. Now the kids can zinaweza nyonya, lakini a duroc utapata most of the time inalala ikiwa inakaa hivi, so haitaki kunyonyesha. Now that's one thing about the durocs. We have looked at the what not to do in your farm, not to bring a mother duroc. But then I'll give you one more secret. A combination of a duroc male and a combination of that's a male, and then a female, which is can be landrace or large white. If you do a combination of that, ndume ikuwe duroc is a constant, but then unaweza cheza na wawili, landrace na large white. Landrace and large white, the biggest hack with these ones is that they have very good mothering ability. The litter size that comes with it ni kubwa sana. Unaweza pata hadi watoto 24. I did visit a farmer who had 24 piglets out of one littering, you know. And also, apart from that, there's also the good mothering ability. It's generous to the kids. Ailalia watoto pia. It's conscious. It is as if it was designed to be a mother. But then, if you a duroc, if you can have that black and white with a strain of brown as the father of your litter, you're good to go. But then, if you combine now with the landrace and the large white, then you're good to go. You're more than even good to go now. Like, always remember not to buy a duroc mother. There are very low success cases of duroc mothers which have done well in terms of litter and everything. Moving on ahead, we have this statistic which has been confirmed and has been said by many farmers. You'll go do a farm visit to some of these pig farms, and then they will tell you that he ni large white pure, or he ni duroc pure. In Kenya, there is no pure pig breed. It's as simple as that. There is no pure breed in Kenya. In Uganda, yes, there is, but in Kenya, no, there is none. So as you go doing your venture, in trying to add the number of pigs in your farm, or even starting up, let no one lie to you that there's a pure breed in Kenya. There's no pure breed in Kenya. What we have is more of crossbreeds. Leo duroc imepatiwa large white, watoto wake wako na combination hizo, kutoka hapo watoto wake akapatiwa duroc nyingine ama large white ndume nyingine, ikiendelea hivyo tu. So there is no pure pig breed in Kenya. So I think now you're even more equipped. One more thing, and this is what I'm going to fault farmers out there. And if you're watching me, I think we need to come clean about this. Most pig farmers don't tell you the age of the pig if it's a sow. Guilt I'm na shida, hiyo uko sure haijaiza. But then most of these farmers won't tell you the truth. How many times has it littered? Ni mara ngapi imepatiwa watoto? And I want to say this to our farmers. we need to come clean to even people we are selling to. I'll give you my own personal experience. Sometime back, I decided to buy a pig, a sow that had given, of course, if it's a sow, it has given birth more than once. I wanted one that had given birth once at most, or even twice, tukiwa tumepita sana. So I get this one, which is a little bit cheaper. 30,000. Unaambiwa pia iko na record yake, it has 19 piglets, it had 19 piglets, na sasa iko na gestation ya 2.5 months. And I'm thinking, wow, that's such a good deal. 30,000. You know, a normal sow that is at the gestation period of 2 months, around there, 1 to 2 actually months, won't sell for less than 35,000. A good one. I'm talking about good breeds. Today we want to talk about good breeds. Si zile zetu zenye zilikuwa pale zamani. We want to talk about good breeds. A normal one won't sell for less than 35,000. And I'm here seeing, oh, okay, this is 30,000. Wow, I'm saving at least some 5K. You know, hii 5K itasaidia kununulia feeds ama pia kulipa labor and everything. Decided to buy it. As you can see, it's very good. Maliko, you can hadi unaambiwa ndo wale watoto wake, they are doing so good. And you know, that's one thing we farmers also keep on also we love farm visits, and we don't tell these people 100% of the truth. You know, we only give the success side of it. We don't give the other side of it, you know. So naambiwa ndo wale watoto pale unawaona ni wakubwa sana, and you can see, wow, that's some good. Na ilikuwa imepatiwa 19. Unaambiwa it had 19 last time, 19 piglets. And I'm here asking, wow, you know, when me doing my hesabu moja mbili pale tatu, I'm asking, oh wow, that's interesting, because mi napiga average ya 10 pekee. So if they can come as 20, that means I can save the cost of having another mother, lakini still I have this later. So wakati wa kudispose, we're doing close to 75% more profit, you know, actually 175% profit. I'm asking, okay, let me take this one. And when ilifika ule wakati wa kuzaa, wow, I won't lie to you. It was quite interesting. It was an it was an interesting experience. So, naambiwa, hey, but nguruwe leo imeanza kuzaa sahi. Okay. So I'm here waiting, you know. Mina ngoja hadi, wajua they keep on improving each and every time, each and every after later. Na kwanza nimekuwa na feed vizuri, ili ilete watoto wakubwa pia. So I'm here thinking, okay, you know, hapa we are embracing for something in between 15 and even 20, in between there. And I'm very comfortable, you know, even waiting for the number. It's quite interesting what it gave me. Nangoja, naambiwa saa hii ndo tumefika ya 7, imekaa kitu kama 3 hours bado ndo inatoa ka 7, and then I search, you know, nowadays it's easy to even know anything that you want in any farm. You know, unaenda unaingia pale unaingia pale unaambiwa unachiki pale kwa online, you see that blogs that have been rated by experienced farmers and also agrovets and everything is that it can take even 24 hours imalize kuzaa since the farrowing period started. Mimi najua hata hii 7 after 3 months, after 3 hours bado inaendelea pia. But then as time goes on, naambiwa ya 8 imefika, and okay, this is not taking time because it has taken, ilianza 1 p.m. by 7 p.m. imeachilia 7 kwanza, imepewa 7. Lakini by 9 p.m. naambiwa zimekuwa 8 sasa, na imeanza kutoa afterbirth. Wow. You know, that's half the target. That's half the target. It is quite interesting because what I was told is not what I got. But again, as a farmer, you have to always embrace for such things and also look at the positive side of it. So my partner, who we do the business together with, was really sad. I won't lie to you. They were really sad by what we were told. That's how we got duped. That's how we got duped. tuliambiwa oh numbers, oh nini, sijui it's so good or what, but then it gives me 8 and inatoa afterbirth and we are done. My partner was not so happy about it. But I'm here asking, let's focus on the positive side. Hatutarudishia mkulima mwenye alituzia hii nguruwe basi. So then what do? We decided to look at the positive side of it. And it's quite interesting that the litter right now is gaining. The litter is gaining weight very fast. That's now the positive side of it. And we decided to stay on the positive side of it because a pig that is an average of 4 months 4 weeks, that's 1 month, should be weighing an average of 7 kgs right there. So 7 kgs, ukiendelea na hiyo trajectory, you might get even 100 to 120 kgs by end of 6 months. By 6 months, actually, when you're clicking 6 months, you'll get 120 around there. But then, the pigs right now, how they're doing, they're only 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks around there, and they're already 7 kgs. Ile mzito kabisa ishafika 7 kgs. So even 1.5 a week before the estimated time is 7 kgs ishafika. It's in the process of rising. And it's one of those things that we decided, okay, let's focus on that and let's just see if kama unaamini Mungu, kama Mungu ndo amefungua hii njia, we just have to appreciate what we got. But then as a farmer, next time and any day that you're going out there to any farm to go do your own survey, go do scout for pigs to add to your farm or start your farm, make sure you can look into these 2 things. First, angalia magoti ya nguruwe hapa. Ukiangalia magoti yake, ukiona yanakunja kila wakati inaamka. Yeah, that's those are wrinkles right there, and that's a red flag. Let somebody tell you can know, unaweza jua a guilt. That's 100%. You can know enye imepatiwa. It's hard to know enye imepatiwa kutoka first and second. Now, what we were told is that ilikuwa imepatiwa the second time. Now we have to accept that it's even more. We have to accept that it's even more. It had complications. This pig had complications in terms of even giving removing the afterbirth. Ilikuja kusaidiwa na vet. A normal pig should not, haipaswi kusaidiwa kabisa. Si kama ng'ombe. Inapaswa kupewa naturally tu. Na itoe afterbirth naturally. But then hii ilibidi kuja isaidiwe. Na pen ilikuwa inapenda kulala sana. It's normal for a pig to sleep for the first one day bila takula sana kidogo tu, but then hii ilienda karibu 3 days 4 days hailali bado, haiamki sana, inakula kidogo sana, na ni nguruwe ilikuwa inapenda kula sana, and it received complications. We had to consider even doing booster injections and quite a few other things, and even pneumonia kwa sababu imelala chini sana for a long time, kapatiwa pneumonia injection ili isipate baridi, na pia mastitis. That's another thing that also might come with a pig that is sleeping so much on the floor and lying on the floor for so long. It's called flow, and we had to even inject it with pneumonia. These are some of those things that we call ripple effects, direct and ripple effects of not scouting well, or even that farmer not even giving you the record. One more thing that you need to do while even scouting is also always ask for records. We farmers are still embracing, pig farmers, we're still embracing records and the importance of records. But then inafika mahali unaambiwa, wow, Brian, what we have here ni mfanyikazi. Sasa mfanyikazi hakuwa ananisaidia records. Quite a few things you'll be given excuses, but then the truth is that those records are very important. Every pig farmer has records. Every serious pig farmer has records, because what that translates to is that mtajua wakati inapaswa kusaviwa, mtajua wakati inapaswa kuchangewa feeds, mtajua wakati inapaswa ku give birth and all those things. People haifanyikagi out of nature. People do keep records, and if a farmer out there tell you that they do not have records of their pigs, they're lying to you. 100% they're lying to you. Let a pig farmer give you the records. And also, it's not 100% guaranteed that every record they have put down on paper is 100% true. Use your eye. As I told you, look at the armpit, look at the leg. Another thing, you can touch the skin. Ukiguza utajua this very young skin. So two things that I didn't notice while buying my first pigs was sikuguza vizuri, niguze skin. Later is when I realized this hard skin does also tell the age. It's really quite interesting. Ukiguza tu utasikia hii ni ngumu, hii ni ngumu. Kuna nyingine utaguza utasikia ni soft, na akikwambia it's the first time, then you can have a guarantee of doubt. Don't conclude on the first result. Angalia miguu, angalia skin, and also the records that are there. Quite interesting things pig farmers won't tell you, because again, we're in the business of making money, and many pig farmers won't tell you. One more thing, as we head to a short commercial break and also come and talk more about things that pig farmers won't tell you, is that I decided to get my workers vaccinated. What this helps is that mimi nikiwa huku Nairobi ama mahali niko, is that I'm sure that my labor won't be affected much in case of a COVID outbreak. And that's what actually Producers Direct is doing, going out there and vaccinating farmers, not only pig farmers, of course, tea farmers, coffee farmers, everybody. Are you thinking of vaccinate? What are some of those things you've had, from your colleagues who are in the farming business? Unasikia mahali kwamba unajua hii kitu naogopa kidogo ikuwe na fertility issues, mwili ita react. Kuna jamaa mmoja alipass pale. But then what I'll tell you from now, away from the farmers, now from the journalistic point of view, is that we journalists do cover stories because they are meant to be stories. A story does not mean majority. For example, if somebody loses their loved one because the loved one was alipewa COVID vaccine, I think it's also somewhere we need to also push even more. Let's go deeper. It's not just about the vaccine. It comes up with something else. Maybe there was a precondition. There was a condition that was inside the person was vaccinated, and also fertility issues. Fertility issues are World Health Organization and other health organizations have talked about them, and I think I took my second vaccine, and also I'm thinking, well, the booster shot is not bad, but then if you've not yet received your first vaccine, your first dose, just rush to one of the nearest health centers that are administering these vaccines. Ask your friend where they got the vaccine. And also, while you're out there speaking to your peers, fellow farmers, always encourage each other. Let's not give these stories of deceit, tusionyanyishe pia pale kwa news pekee jamaa moja alienda. Lakini let's look at the positive side of it, that more than 95% is surviving very well and doing so good, actually. And let's embrace vaccination. And also, it's a high time you as a small scale farmer, and also as a medium scale farmer, and also a large scale farmer, it is a time that you can also take your family, you can also take your employees for vaccination. What that gives you is a peace of mind that hata nikiachilia kazi yangu bado niko sure COVID is not going to be a problem. Another thing for pig farmers, pigs, naturally, they are somehow there's a percentage that we human beings share with pigs. So biosecurity is another issue. So if your employees are sick of COVID, ama wakona signs kama hizo, might also translate to the pigs. they might also inawezambukiza nguruwe zako pia. Now, and you know, nguruwe, as we all know, it's that venture that ikifika mahali kwamba there's a disease or there's an infection or an outbreak, it carries close to a very huge percentage, close to almost everything. So what you need to do, go get vaccinated farmers. Producers Direct is doing right there, is actually advocating for all these things. Go get your vaccine again and again and again. I'll keep emphasizing that so that you can get a peace of mind. I'll take a short commercial break. I'll read some of your feedback when I'm back. Don't go far away. We'll be back. Again, you are welcome to this conversation again. We are handling this topic of this topic not many people will accept to talk to you about. We want to talk about some of those things pig farmers won't tell you. As a startup, as somebody who is continuing to stock your pigs in your farm, these are some of the things pig farmers don't tell you. We started the breed, we went to again the age and the number of times the pig is farrowed. I want us to talk about this key aspect. We want to talk about the vet aspect. Now, we have different vets who come with different opinions, and you can write 1,000 books when we start talking about that conversation, where not everything your vet tells you is 100% true. There's always two sides of this. Maybe the vet doesn't know 100% of what he's saying. He's giving his own opinion. Another side of it is that maybe he doesn't have 100% history of your pigs in specific. And another thing is that actually these vets are good at specific fields, not every field. A vet can be as good as the basic scientific treatment. But then if a vet recommends maybe different, you can change your feeding program for your pigs, it is a high time you also understand how to do it. Don't consume everything your vet tells you. Now that's another thing you need to understand. Take care of your interests first. Sit down. Don't rush to make decisions. Sit down and ask yourself. That's why you need to do good research and also start implementing them right. Sit down and ask yourself, when I started this business, this is what I wanted. This is how I did plan my things. But then the vet has a different opinion. How about trying it? But then you will find out that we farmers learn from very, very many different sources. First, we learn from each other. Second, we also learn from our experts, who are even the vets. Another thing, we also learn from blogs, We also learn from apprenticeship. We learn from different sources. And actually, one of the best ways of learning what is non-medicinal or what is not more of the scientific side of it is apprenticeship, or even from other farmers. Always aim high. That's the one thing I will tell you. Always aim high. What that will help you is the fact that you know where you want your pig farm to be in the next 1 year. You know where you want to be in the next 6 months or even 5 years. You need to put your eyes high. That's why you need to go to, don't learn more the level that you are right now. 2 pigs, 3 pigs, 4 pigs, 10 pigs. You need to go to those farmers who have even more than 200 pigs. Let them tell you. Because some of these farmers, before they can reach those 200 pigs and actually even have many years in experience on the same thing, is that they have done trials and errors. Sure enough, they have done trials and errors. And everything they have done, they have documented. So they won't go backtracking their feet again. They won't go back to where they started. That's why it's very important to do your research very well. And also how you do your research is very important. Who you go to talk to and who you go learn from. It's very important. Vets can be as good as what they are offering, the service they are offering. If it's the tooth clipping side of it, kama ni castrate, they're good at that. They have learned for that. But then when it comes to feeding programs and everything, you need to understand it from those experienced pig farmers. Take time with them. Let them tell you. Actually, a very good pig farmer will share the downside of how they started. No project in this country starts and flies 100% green. There's always somewhere it goes yellow or red. You need to go sit down with them. Let them tell you where they failed. If you go to a farmer during a farm visit and they don't tell you the downside of their farm, I think you need to start doubting a few things. There's no There's no success story that doesn't have some bit of itches here and there. And actually, a good farmer will tell you in order not to also do what they did while starting up. So even in terms of housing, farmers will sit down with you and they tell you that most of those farmers unatoka nao unaenda kuangalia kwa farm pia, they're even also thinking of restructuring their farm, their pig farming structures, their pig pens and everything, because how they started is not how they are right now. It's always very good. So go sit down with the pig farmer. Let them tell you the downside of how they started the business. Let them be open to that, and don't ask for it. Actually, they will tell you by themselves. Then, if they start that, just ask what you learned from them. What did you learn from, maybe, for example, pigs that didn't do so well in the first 6 months? Actually, they didn't achieve 100 kgs, maybe the 6th month. Maybe they're going to tell you that in the first 2 months, we didn't 100% give this liter time to spend with their mothers. So hazikuweza kupata yale maziwa ya mama vizuri. And always remember that the first 2 months are very important for any piglet. First 2 months is where you get it right. It's just like human beings. It's just like a kid. A kid will understand very many languages, but then in as much as they won't be able to talk to them, talk them in specific, they do learn so much. They do grow so much. And even while trying to shape them, the best time to shape is always early enough. So it's the same thing with pigs. So these farmers should tell you all these things they have learned with experience. Ukiona jamaa anakuambia tu success story, we have 1,000 pigs here, we started with 2, hizo vitu zote, that's just one side of it. Always ask the other side of it. And that's how you'll always embrace and be ready to face challenges. Moving on swiftly, time and concentration. Many pig farmers will tell you this. Pig farming is not labor intensive. Pig farming is not time consuming. Some of it is true, but some of it is, not 100% true. These I learned during my research, not even actually comparing my research, but also my experience. Pig farming, true, is not labor intensive. That's a true thing. But then pig farming is time consuming. This is how it is. A pig, you can come feed your pig in the morning, and you'll be very good to go. So what happens is you can even feed your pig once, kama inakula 3 kgs in a day, ipe hata asubuhi tu. But then you need to stay drain your eye, ama kurusha jicho to go confirm that your pig is doing right. Every time you go to your pen, you'll always find something interesting. You need to take time and learn your pigs. Very, very important. Every pig has its own personality trait, just like human beings. Kuna zile zenye zinapenda kufight, or know why they're fighting. Actually, maybe they're fighting over very small issues. Kunazo utakuta zinakimbizana, zinazunguka place moja. Utakuta zinataka hata kulala tu masikio, nothing much, It's quite interesting, actually. It's quite interesting once you take time to learn your pigs and their behavior. It's really interesting. So you won't go away kuna wanakuja unaekea asubuhi na unaenda. Pig farming needs some time. Kwanza hapa mwanzo you need to take time with your pigs, understand every pig and how it is. Kuna ile yenye utakia chakula kwa trough, inakula ikiwa na mwaga nje kwa sababu it's the nature. Every pig, as I said, has its own personality trait. So kuna ile yenye utaekea ikule ikiwa na mwaga kama ng'ombe kadhaa pia, they are always like that. And it's always good to understand now from there, kama ina mwaga, then let's break maybe, for example, the feeding times ama feeding ratios. Zamua niaje, we are going to feed 1.5 in the morning, 1.5 in the evening, then spread the feeds through the whole trough. So those are some of the finer details that zinaweza kupita tu if you don't spend time with the pigs. So spend time with them, even let them even know you, but they will know you in as much the time that you're going to spend with your pigs. So it's very important Time and concentration is very important. Labor intensive, no, nothing much. Utakuja uoshe asubuhi ama jioni, weke food. Kutoka hapo, actually it's even now more of watching them. Unless that's a daily, that's recurrent, that's a daily routine. But then you need to always understand how your pigs behave. That's very key. Another thing, and this is where there's a lot of cartelism in pig farming, and not only pig farming but also animal keeping. Not every feeds are good for your animals. Way before you can go and buy feeds for your pigs or animals, it's always very important to understand the formulation that they have. And it's somewhere that we need to sit down and talk about it. It's somewhere that it's highly influenced by other factors also. How much money do I have? We have Jama Miller, local Miller, who is doing these formulations, this amount of cash, which is lesser than maybe Unga ama any other people will sell you. Ama takama, I won't mention very many names. I won't even mention names actually. You'll find out that different companies have different formulation for their feeds. And it's time to understand in terms of formulation. What does every type of feed come with? It's maybe lacking, for example, the vitamin aspect of it. Maybe it's low. Maybe Diamond V in the formulation ni kidogo sana. And maybe even understanding the formulation will help you know what you're going to supplement with. If these feeds lack this amount of it, then I'm going to maybe buy these to add into this, kwa sababu at the end of the day the end goal is always make the pig grow. Unajua yule mtu mwenye anauza feeds pale nje kwa market, their end goal is not just like your end goal, but you need to understand that their end goal is making money, and your end goal is making sure that productivity comes up. And even in pig farming, we also need to understand there's the science and the business side of things. You need to understand in terms of formulation. Now you're digging deep into the science, but then also the business side is also affected by the running costs. The recurrent expenditure. Recurrent expenditure includes the feeds, the cost of feeds. So you have to balance the two. And as always, I've always advocated for you to go full blown when it comes to feeds. Look for the feeds that come with almost everything. You don't need to supplement anything out there. Everything. One thing for sure is that they're going to be a little bit expensive. That's 100% true. But then always ask yourself, these cheaper feeds, why are they cheaper? Why are they cheaper? It's because maybe they lack some nutritional value, which you also need to understand so that you can supplement, as we said. So before you can go out there and buy feeds for your pigs, it's very, very important to know that the formulation of the feeds that you're going to buy, 100%, everything that is in there, and know what your pig needs to eat so that you can complement it. One more thing. When people are starting, farmers that I've interacted with, and the mistake that they made while starting up was the cost aspect. We're talking about the business side of things now, not the science, the business side of things. The cost aspect, in terms of, it starts from even the structures themselves. Utapata kwamba kuna nguruwe zinaachiliwa hivyo tu, zinakaa kama ng'ombe kadhaa zenye unafungulia mahali, zinaenda tu zinakula, then uko nje kunazo hata nilipata zinakula nyasi and they're good, they're okay the way they are. But then today, as I said, we're going to talk about those breeds that will give you 100 kgs and how well you can go through and you can walk this journey. Is first, don't feel that pain of giving out money. what you need to do is unnecessary money. Now, that's what now you need to look into. But then if it's necessary, you need to. The cost of housing, I won't lie to you, the cost of housing is a little bit high because maybe most of these pig pen structures zimetengenezwa na some bit of mawe na concrete, but then pia mbao siku hizi zimepanda sana. So of course the cost of housing is a little bit high. And actually how you start everything determines how everything runs. You can go maximize on maybe badala nijenge 3 course kutoka kwa floor, kama nijenge 4 course unaamua na si by then naweza kai 2 course alafu niongeze mbao tu ipande, ama niweke chain ipande, chicken mesh, something mesh wire actually. You need to understand that that small decision that you made ile but we can try to maximize on these, somehow somewhat do affect you. Because for example, ukifika 2 course ya kujenga 2 course ni tuseme kama mawe moja imefika hapa, kuna nyingine imefika hapa, lakini nguruwe height yake ni refu at times. Utapata kuna nguruwe pia zinapenda kupanda juu na miguu, and it reaches a point that you need to understand that pigs zinapenda kukula mbao pia. So the decision that you're going to make, that you're trying to save on the, unataka kusave mawe and everything, utarudia kutengeneza hii mbao tena somehow. You need to, it might hit you maybe one day, and you might redo the structures. And actually it's quite interesting. Most of these pig farms that I've had conversations with, and pig farmers I've had conversation with, and also done farm visits, most of them are restructuring the pig farms. How they started is not how they are, and most of them ni kwa sababu wanakwambia, but I even noticed that maybe hit huku ni nyingi. So what I need to do is increase the size of the dirisha yake ili kukuwe na circulation ya hewa vizuri, kwa sababu nguruwe zangu zina hema sana ikifika maybe 1 pm 12 hapo, na pia hata mabati yenye ilikuwa hapo. So they are restructuring. Most of these people are restructuring. That's why I said it's very good. It's very important to always do your research before you can venture into any business. Just like any other business, pig farming, you need to do your good calculations, and we're going to get even there, where you also need to do a business plan. Ask yourself this: in every business that you've started, have you done your business plan? Have you written it down actually? Because we are guilty of coming up with business plans on our heads, and tunaona okay, ama unaandika tu hesabu kidogo tu, unaona basi niko na 100,000, hiyo ni nguruwe ngapi? Hizo ni mbili zenye naweza nunua at an average of 30,000, alafu utakula feeds ya 30,000 within something, itanipea 10 piglets and so. My friend, the truth is that you need to sit down and break down everything. Why you're buying a pig for 30,000, and what type of pig you're going to buy for 30,000. It's not every 30,000 worth of pig has the same characteristic. I shared my story that I bought a pig for 30,000, and it ended up being a very old pig that I even didn't know about. But then you see, I also tried to optimize on the cost. But 35,000, which I knew was close to the average rates, I decided to go for the 31. And ikanichoma. At time, it reaches a point where now cheap can go expensive. It's very important to consider that before you can start any venture, put down your thoughts on paper. Now, pig farmers won't tell you this, for sure. They won't tell you this, because more of the farmers that we have grown with, farmers who didn't embrace more of some formal way of, applying more science and education into, and also maths, education, that is it, to, in our farming, in our farms. And now it reaches a point that things go changing. You don't document them. For example, unasema, okay, as I gave you an example, you have a 30,000 pig and everything, but then hiyo ni hesabu ya hewa tu. ile siku utaenda kwa ground utapata vitu ni different sana. What you did is you did count only on the business side of things. Yeah, you need to understand the science brings out the science brings the best out of the business aspect. You can go decide that you know, we have all these pigs, wenda ununue pale kwa mila, si huyu jamaa anauzaga nini hapa, feeds hapa, na have an employee hapa, everything. You can see, you can see all those things, you know, in your head and in your mind. But then ask yourself this question: how am I doing this business? The science aspect. There's no business that does not come with the science aspect. The science aspect is even more important than the business. But again, we are here for the business. That's now the other side of things again. So you need to sit down and balance the two. You know, all have to balance. Ukiona umeenda sana kwa biashara, you're somehow not doing right in this pig farming business. Always, as I said, always, of course, create a good business plan. There are very many templates out there to look for business plans. They can be very simple, but then you need to break down every detail. This breed, does it do so well? Is it affected by cold? What's the litter size? Yeah, in terms of the litter yenyewe, yeah, itakuwa vizuri. Unaweza kuwa pia na nguruwe wengi, litter size kubwa, lakini pia ishindwe kunyonyesha pia. You know, you might also have all those things, lakini nguruwe yenyewe ikose maziwa kwa sababu ya the breed that you did. Break down these things in business plans. It's something we need to understand and emphasize to our farmers, to my fellow farmers, that a business plan is as good as the vision. It's very important. It's going to guide you through all the way. One more thing, it's a myth that has always been there, that pigs eat their litter. Pigs don't eat their litter as long as you feed them right. Feed them right doesn't mean you can give it 10 kgs, even 3 kgs, even 2.5 kgs, even 2 kgs, as long as the pig is okay. As long as the pig is doing right in terms of feeding. Nguruwe huwa akuli watoto wake. It's a notion that we've been told out there. Tumeambiwa lazima ikule kamoja, akakuambia mwili asanti, and all those. Wow, it's quite interesting when you go out there and listen to what people do say and what people do believe. But nguruwe hapaswi kula watoto wake. And how do you ensure this? You need to feed your pig right. Every formulation, and this even goes back to the feeds that you bought. You know, it's quite interesting. If you bought feeds that do lack enough amount of calcium, huyo nguruwe wako ataka kila wakati akona calcium deficit na atakuwa na cravings za kupata calcium. Sasa labda hata anaweza kula sakafu, anaweza kula chuma, anaweza kula mbao. Hata nguruwe haipasi kula mbao sana. Inapaswa kuja tu inusanuse as long as zimeshiba. Actually, a well-fed pig is good to go. 100% good to go. Haitakuja ikusumbue sana. So you need to put into consideration all these things, and that myth that I just told you that nguruwe ukula watoto, it doesn't completely. So if you are told these things, and actually, you know, all these things even influenced the uptake for white meat, sana pigs, the pork. You know, it reached a point that people have perceptions about these pigs. You know, if you read the Bible, ushaisikia mahali labda nguruwe zilikasiwa zikienda kwa mto, hizo vitu zote. You need to learn these things in depth. You know, they always say less information is very dangerous. Little information is very, very dangerous. You need to sit down and understand how things run. I always believe that you can put 90% of the effort in strategizing and 10% in implementing. Strategizing is very important, you know. Strategy is 100% better than just hard work. You can just run unaweza kimbia towards the wrong side of the race, but you still working hard, you're trying to even, hata labda unakimbia zaidi ya yule mwenye ako pale wa kwanza. Sit down, do your business plan, do everything, execute, research. And before you can execute, do your research, as I'm going to emphasize through this show. Do your research, right? Understand what pig will come to right in your place. And also quite a few other things that you need to understand also. So market access upgrade program is advocating for you as a pig farmer out there, and any other farmer who is watching and listening to us. It's advocating for safe use of pesticides. You know, pesticides is not only limited to farming, agriculture itself. Mali unaenda unafanya crop farming. It also applies to even these pigs of yours right there, even the pigs that you want to start. Kuna zile dawa kama disinfection ama disinfectants zenye they are labeled, they should be labeled. First, very important, way before buying a disinfectant ama before, you know, buying dawa ya ku spray nguruwe zako asikuwe na flies ama anything, hizo vitu zote, you need to understand that this time this kind of for example, this kind of pesticide inapaswa kuwa imekuwa first labeled, right? Unajua what type it is. Also, you need to understand you know, it's on the label. Kila kwanza let's first get this right. We are all buying all these things kutoka kwa accredited source. Usinunue pale kwa yule farmer mwingine nini, so that you can also increase traceability aspect. Understand that iko na expiry date, you know. Na ukiweka expiry date, it's maybe it doesn't work ama itakuja ku affect. You know, kama uko na pale dawa yako ya minyoo pia, you need to understand that expiry date yake inakaaje, and always once you have it at hand, always ensure that it is you administer the right medication or the right instructions. Everything has its own instructions, you know. You need to understand, take that pesticide, iangalie yote venye iko. You know, we are very guilty of always taking medication. Easy ni Panadol, you know, ama easy ni anything, you know, it's a painkiller. You know, it's easy. Tunajua mtoto anapaswa kunywa kamoja tu, ama when it comes to maybe when it comes to, you know, disinfection, tunajua we just need to do 10 liters akakadogo hapa tu. It's always good to always confirm every time before you can use your pesticide. Very important. Now we're going to take a short commercial break. I'll take a cup of water, and we will be back again, as I promised, with more feedback from people who are watching and people who are sending in feedback. They can first. I'll come with more feedback. My name is Brian Mwanda, and keep watching A Farmers Media. I'll come with more and more stuff after the break. So keep watching us.
Beetroot is a highly nutritious root vegetable. The beetroot is the taproot portion of a beet plant. It is one of the many varieties of the genus Beta vulgaris, all of which are mostly grown for their edible taproots and leaves. Beetroot is a root crop that takes approximately 3 to 4 months to mature. Beetroot is a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have 2 true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there is at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions.
Welcome back to A Farmers Media, the mid-morning show with me, Brian Mwenda, of course, standing in for Noah Nasiali, who is a very good expert. But today he told me, Brian, take my shoes. And maybe you're going to fit in them. Noah is the one who is going to tell me if I did fit in them. But today, I want us to connect, learn, and grow. And in the conversation today we had, and we are still talking about, is some of those things pig farmers won't tell you. Starting up or also continuing to set up a farm and everything else that comes with pig farming. These are some of the things that pig farmers won't tell you. But wait, before we can get right there, I want to sample some of the feedback that has come on my SMS line here. Ferdinand Omondi tells me that the conversation is very good. He says that he grew up knowing that pigs do eat their litter, and it's quite interesting what now he knows that they do not eat their litter. And again, we continue sampling your feedback. Continue sending your feedback to our Facebook page, A Farmers Media with an S, A Farmers. Once you go to Instagram, you can talk to us at A Farmers with a Z. And also when you go to Twitter, it is A Farmers with an S. Continue sending us your feedback thick and fast. We continue sampling them, and by the end of this show, your voice is going to be heard. Now, in our conversation, we had talked about the age of the pig. This is what most farmers won't tell you, and how many times it has furrowed the breed that does right in your farm. It is up to you to understand what breed is best for your farm. Not every breed is right for your farm. And again, we say that there's no pure breed in Kenya. Let no farmer lie to you. That to you. Don't believe everything your vet says. Time and concentration. Your pigs need time and concentration. They might be not labor intensive, but then need time and concentration. Formulation of feeds is very important to understand the formulation of the feeds that you're buying, so that they can inform you the supplements that you need to add to the feeding program of your pigs. Let's not assume this issue of cost implication. Pig farming is cost. It needs a lot of cost. It eats so much more close to 70% of the recurring expenditure. I'm talking about the monthly. We can say this is the expenditure that you incur from now and then. It goes on. It recurs. That's what it's called, a recurring expenditure, recurrent expenditure. Feeds take up to 70% of expenditure. 70% of expenditure of the monthly expenditure, of the recurring expenditure, must not be 100% monthly, can also be weekly or even after two months. Feeds take up to 70%, and it's one of those conversations that pig farmers have always had, how we can subsidize the cost of feeds, so that once you reduce the cost of production, which is also the part of which is also the recurring expenditure, you can maximize on your profits. And also pigs do not eat their litter or their children. That's very 100% true. They do not eat their children. So just in case you grew up knowing that, they don't. We want to continue with this conversation. Very heavy. I can feel it. It's very heavy. But then I want to simplify to the list that you can chew. So let's talk about medication. Truth is that pigs have a routine of medication, and it's always very good in your business plan. As we said, it's always very good to set aside a budget for medication. Do not assume. Usiassume inguro itagonjeka nini. Always set aside an average of 200 bob per piglet since izaliwe hadi zeke. 200 bob is kidogo sana. Ini pesa kidogo sana, lakini always set aside that amount of cash for every piglet that you have, because it needs to be lazima ipewe iron injection twice. First round after, of course, 3 days, and then after 14 days, very important to know that they need also to be castrated, if you know to castrate, well and good. But if you don't know something, please don't play with your pigs. Another thing that is that you also, part of the medication is also disinfectant. I'll give you one very, very interesting factor that I found ever since COVID came in. Many serious pig farms do not allow visitors in the pig pens. They do not allow, and this is the reason. Maybe ulienda mahali ukaambiwa kupita hapa usipite, ukafikiria labda huyu jamaa ameanzisha biashara na ringa, and they didn't give you a reasoning. It's always so good to know that, as I said, pigs can be affected. What affects humans also affect pigs, quite a percentage. That's why you saw there's even a story of a man who was given a hat from pigs, and maybe other things. I think there are other things that pigs can also, pig parts can also rhyme with the human being. But then ukienda ongelesha nguruwe itasikiza. That's quite interesting. Itasikiza na itakuangalia. Maybe hawajui kuongea lakini they understand. Quite a few features that are not so far away from human beings. And also the question has always been biosecurity. Now the reason as to why they didn't let you into their farms was the reason for, it's because of biosecurity. It's not only COVID pekee. You can unaweza ingia ukiwa una sneeze na baadaye unaacha nguruwe ikiwa una sneeze. Funny enough. It's quite interesting. Nguruwe utaacha ikiwa una sneeze. And it's quite interesting that many pig farmers, as I said, serious pig farmers, do not allow people kutoka nje. Apart from that, it's not only the COVID point of view. Also, we are culpable, or we are guilty of coming from one pig farm. More so when you're doing your scouting, of course, unajua vizuri utatoka hii farm, wenda hii farm nyingine. And it's quite interesting that you can carry an infection from one pig farm to another. Actually, one of the easiest way that an infection can go around your farm, even without going to another farm, is kutoka kwa ng'ombe yako. Ng'ombe yako inaweza ambukiza nguruwe zako. And this is why foot and mouth. Foot and mouth is more so predominantly coming from cows. Na ng'ombe yako ikipatikana na foot and mouth, and maybe your worker does not, for example, change the attire kutoka kwa ng'ombe kwenda kwa nguruwe, it's very important to understand that you need to change to the right farm attire for pigs, because pigs, I'll tell you this interesting fact, pigs do not get sick very easy. But then pigs, once they are sick, inaweza kufanyisha hasara kubwa sana. And that's why serious farmers do not allow you to get in there, because for example you infect one and zinakaa kwa pen moja kama 10 of them, one pen, 10 of them, ikipata moja zinaambukiza na rahisi sana. That's why they might not have told you that, but then I'm here telling you and informing you that pigs can be carried away easily. That's why sasa next time ukiambia usipite hapa, you have a good reasoning for that. You can understand, and you can also somehow respect the rules of the place, kwa sababu hasara itaenda kwa mwenyewe pia. Kivyako utakuwa umelan na labda umetoka huko hata umesahau, lakini hasara itabaki kwake pia. So once we go visit some of these farms, always make sure that you disinfect vizuri. Kanyaga yale maji pale mbele kabla hujaingia kwa nyumba ya nguruwe, kanyaga vizuri, because these might also go to the pigs that you're leaving, and you might leave more of a curse than a blessing. So I want us to, of course, that's now the medication budget. As I said, always keep a medication budget from 200 shillings per piglet. That won't hurt. That's fair. It's low, but it's fair. hizo disinfectant zote, eka budget yako vizuri, make sure that you can buy them. Iron injections, one key secret that I can give you is that iron injection and any other injectables and any other thing that a vet might come with, always buy. Kwanza kama una nguruwe wengi, always buy, nunua, zieke wewe mwenyewe, kwa sababu akikuja na iron injection for example, they're going to charge you 50 bob per dose kwa kanguruwe kamoja. But if you have viewers in specific, wow, that would be way cheaper. Anaweza kulipisha hadi 20 bob kakitu kadogo tu. You'll be charging for the service, not plus the product, because out here people, apart from, you know, charging you for the service, for the product, they also want to incur some more cash on the product also, you know. And now utalipia service pia. So always have some of those small things zenye wanahitaji, zenye zinarikaa, zieke tu kando, zinunue, zieke kando. You can enjoy benefits of economics of scale, where kama ni nyingi utanunua kamoja na katasaidia, lakini ukihesabu 50-50 bob kwa kila nguruwe, you know, that translates also down to the running cost and recurring expenditure that you incur once in a while also. Now we want to talk also about one key issue. It's a quite interesting one. Wacha nivute kiti kwanza nikuje karibu ili unisikie vizuri. It's quite interesting. In between selling your pigs at tender age or letting them mature and sell them at zikiwa zimekuwa 6 months. Actually, that's another thing we're going to talk about, 6 months and plus. It's always advisable to let your pig mature hadi uiuze kwa market ikiwa imefika maturity level. Now the reason for this is you're going to sell maybe 1 month old piglet for 3,000 shillings. Ukiangalia ile hesabu yote mamake ametumia kila kitu, you're left with for example we call them I'm forgetting the profit margin of something about 2,000 shillings. Ukimetoa kama net profit, that's the net. Umetoa medications, umetoa, unajua pia ili mamake asaidie kukuza watoto wake, alikuwa nakula zaidi, unapaswa kula, alikuwa nakula zaidi pia. That's another thing we're also going to talk about. It's quite interesting, very many things that I can remember in this conversation. Lazima ujue kwamba if you have a 2,000 shillings profit margin, and if you can let it go to the 6 months, which predominantly zinaenda, kuna watu wanauza at 5 months zikiwa zishafika 100 kgs, is that the profit margin of a mature pig is close to double or even 3 times the normal piglet. Now, a normal pig from growth to the final age, pale mali unataka kuiuzia maturity, inakula 9,000 shillings, an average of that, 9,000 shillings right now, your feeds and everything. Once you want to add peer medication and everything, that's around 10,000 shillings. So if you're selling to different outlets, you can even achieve even 6,000 out of a mature piglet. And this is what farmers won't tell you. They do not sell because they want to sell. They sell because out of necessity. They want to still remain afloat. For this, the more zinaendelea kukaa hapo, the more zinaendelea kula. That's why I said again, this narrows down to the cash that you started, the capital that you did start with. It's very important to understand that nguruwe ukianza itengeneze budget hadi kuwe kabisa. Usifike mahali uachilie useme by 4 months ama 2 months nitauza kadhaa alafu ziende. You're not doing business. You're just doing the agriculture bit of it. You're not in agribusiness. You're not doing good business, because some patients will let you have 6,000 shillings, 5,000 shillings, even 4,000 shillings per pig. And you know, it's very important to sit down and upige hesabu kabisa. Know that those who sell at tender age, but then know why they do sell. As I told you, they sell not because they want to sell so much. It's because they want to sell ili isaidie bado kwa running cost ya farm pia. So usiende uambiwe ukianzisha biashara yako baadaye hata hii ya kuuza tunguruwe tudogo si mbaya. Wacha kwambie ukweli, anauza kwa sababu anataka kukeep business yake afloat. The more a pig stays in your farm, the better. Lakini always sell your pig past 5 months. Less than that, you'll be making a loss, or you'll be making very little profit. Always sell your pig at 5 months kupanda. An experienced farmer will tell you that, And all these things I'm telling you, it's out of fast research and also blending with a little of experience. And always understand why different farmers do different things. Let them tell you all those things. As we said, it's very important to do that. Now, one more factor I want us to talk about is feeding the mother. Have you ever visited a farm, where a pig farm, where unapata kwamba mama ya watoto, the normal weaning period inakuja kutoka 6 weeks. That's 1.5 a month. Lakini unapata kwamba the 5th and 6th week mama ameanza kukavu, mgongo imeanza kukavu, imeanza kutokea, imefirisika tu mwili, imeisha mwili kabisa. The reason for that is this, and this everything, actually most of these things come to cost. The reason for that is this: the pig needs to eat more than 6 kgs per day of feeds, as long as it's still breastfeeding. What I talk about that is, if you have a pig which is more of tuseme imepata 10 piglets, every piglet need to have more than, actually an average of a quarter when the mother is being given the normal feeding program, 3 kgs, you ni normal 3 kgs, then hesabu kila piglet na a quarter kg. So if you have 10 of them, that's and a quarter, that's 2.5. Adding on top, that's 5.5. It's always recommendable to give your pig, kwa kila piglet patia more than a quarter kg, kwa sababu the more zinaendelea kukua, the more zinaendelea kunyonya pia. And the reason as to why these pigs zinaishiwa na mwili ni kwa sababu most of these farmers, I've done a few farm visits, I've been fortunate to do some of them, and once you go there, you meet that wanapatia huyu nguruwe 3 kgs pekee. 3 kgs, watoto wananyonya sana. Unasikia watoto ndo wanaimaliza. Watoto wamalizi, it's you not feeding them right. Some even go an extent of even giving 10 kgs per pig kila asubuhi. Ile mama mwenye akona watoto. The sow with the litter. The reason for that is, first, it maintains the body shape, which means there's no deficit. The output is equally as the input, and there's a balance. At times even the input can be better, so that it can even produce even better milk, and that will also translate to even the health of the pigs that you're going to have. So that's one of those things that farmers won't tell you. Mbona nguruwe yake imeishiwa na mwili? Ni kwa sababu they don't feed them right. Nguruwe haipaswi kuishiwa na mwili kabisa. Ikiishiwa, ukianza kuona ina struggle kidogo, ongeza feeds, it's going to naturally come back to its shape, and actually you can sell it anytime you want, of course after weaning. One more thing I want us to talk about is this: most of the farms that I've visited, they have large tracts of land, or maybe sizable tracts of land, where they have kales, okona sukuma wiki, okona spinach, okona sweet potato veins, and all those things. But then one interesting thing is that all these things are not necessary. Yeah, true, they're not necessary. I've visited quite a few from Isiolo, from Meru, from very many places. Most of them started by giving them that. But then once they did withdraw, there was no difference. But then always make sure that in the formulation of feeds, they have the aspect yenyewe yenye iko kwa yenye iko hiyo aspect ya skuma but iko kwa feeds. You know, it has the vitamins that skuma iko nayo, ama sweet potato veins zinaleta some bit of protein pia, which is very important to have feeds with high level of proteins. So you might be incurring more expenditure and using more tracts of land, you know, doing all those things, kupanda hizo vitu zote, lakini unakuta kwamba somehow it does not increase more of the productivity, haiongezi mwili size sana. Ni kwa sababu more of even these things ziko already in formulation nzuri ya feeds. That's why I emphasize that don't go small, always go to the right thing. Don't go big again, go to the right thing, the right amounts. Go look for feeds that have these formulations, you know. Go look for feeds that si lazima ufanye ukuwe na kila kitu kenye, si lazima uwe na, for example, sweet potato veins, sukuma wiki na kila kitu. You don't need to have all those things as long as the formulation of the feeds is right. Most of these farmers, they are using the land, otherwise walianza na hizo vitu zote na saa hii wameachilia. And that's a conversation walisahau kabisa hata. Now we are going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with now a few more insights. Actually, those things that farmers won't tell you. It's quite interesting. Farmers won't tell you this until you learn or even you observe. So we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back, and way before you can take a short commercial break, I hope you're on your way to go get vaccinated. If you've not gotten your vaccine, farmers, producers direct is here, always telling you to get vaccinated. It gives you a peace of mind. Wherever you are, wherever you go, you always know that your immunity is boosted. And before you can think about that dose, which I'm also thinking about, by the way, go get first vaccinated. Second thing, vaccinated. That thing, vaccinated. So we take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more.
Beetroot is a highly nutritious root vegetable. The beetroot is the top proportion of a beet plant. It is one of the many varieties of the genus Beta vulgaris, all of which are mostly grown for their edible taproots and leaves. Beetroot is a root crop that takes approximately 3 to 4 months to mature. Beetroot is a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have 2 true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there's at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions.
Wow, it's so good to have you back in this conversation where we're talking about different things that pig farmers won't tell you. My name is Brian Mwenda, sitting in for Noah Nasiali, our big time expert. So today we are expanding on the topic that not many people will want to talk about, which is of course those things pig farmers won't tell you, you know, because maybe ni kitu yenye hawataki kukwambia uende ujionee wewe mwenyewe, ama they assume, ama they do forget, or maybe you know, it's for you to know. That's the other side of it. So welcome to this conversation. It's the mid-morning show with me, Brian Mwenda. And before we can go on with the conversation, Market Access Upgrade Program is advocating for safe usage of pesticides. Do you have a farm right there where you are? Do you have a farm back at home? Do you uko na ng'ombe zako mahali zenye unataka kupulizia, umenotice kuna moja haifanyi vizuri, maybe you're thinking of deworming it or doing something. It's very important once you go to that shop, Agrovet, make sure that first expiry date, very important. Vile unafika supermarket unaangalia expiry date ya mkate, it's even more important because this is an investment that's bringing you money either way. So it's very important to know that the that the vaccination the date expiry date, of course, is well labeled, and also any other thing that comes with it, instructions zote zimeandikwa vizuri. Tafadhali usichukue dawa yenye ina instructions, because you don't know how to use it, and even if you assume you know how to use it, things change. Solutions zina change, concentration kwa solutions keep on changing, and how you did it maybe 1 year ago might be a little bit different from how you're doing it right now, which is very important, because we are here to soma label. Always make sure that una soma label. This is a campaign that's again being run out there by Market Access Upgrade Program, which says dawa bora mazao bora. Make sure that as you give your medication for better productivity, you're keen on what you're doing. We left the conversation at medication, feeding, and everything. We have said so much today, and in our final stretch, I want us to look into only three things. One thing, it's always very important, as you as a pig farmer, it's very important to always know that the best time to accelerate a pig's growth is not after 6 months. It's the first 2 months. If you get it right the first 2 months, you're good to go. If your pigs get maybe 7 kgs by the 7th month, by the 4th week, which is the first month, you're good to go. Of course, kuna kale kenye kanabaki nyuma, normally just like human beings, kuna yule mwenye tabaki nyuma kidogo, maumbile ni tofauti. Lakini it's always good to always know that as you continue growing your pigs and keeping your pigs, always know that the first 2 months are very important. They're the most crucial months in terms of feeding, in terms of medication, in terms of everything that comes with it. So make sure that they breastfeed right. They're given every dosage. Is it vaccine? Is it maybe iron injections? Everything that they come with, make sure that the first 2 months you accelerate. One more thing about the growth rate is that per 6 months, the growth rate reduces. So what happens is, tumekuwa tunapanda, graph imekuwa inapanda hivi, yeah? Ikifika 6 months inaanza kushuka, bado inaendelea put on weight. This is when you're going to observe this. Most of those pigs za zamani kidogo, zilikuwa zinafika 60 kgs after close to even 8 months, 10 months hapo. It's because first acceleration haikuwa kwa hapa chini, so because the mother was not being fed well, so the piglet was not, having enough milk, just like human beings, was not having enough milk and everything, and it affected the growth rate. This translates all the way to how it's going to be, so you need to get it right from the first moment, from the first 2 months. Ikifika 6 months, just dispose it. It's what somebody told me, and an expert who has been there for a long time told me, ikipita 6 months, you're now digging into some capital. You're now narrowing the profit margins. Remember, as we said, the profit margin can be at 6 months can be around 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Some will even give you more than that. But then always make sure that ikifika 6 months, start thinking about you're going to dispose it. Haitakuwa sana. It's going to remain. It's going to eat into the profit margins. Another thing I want us to talk about is, now let's dig into the market now. We've talked about the science, now let's dig into the market. Now, there are those people who decide to sell to organizations, different organizations, who buy pigs. There are those people who decide to sell to slaughterhouses. One key thing that you need to know is that a good pig, there's what we call the live weight and the dead weight. So the live weight, the farm let's just call it the live weight. The live weight is hiyo nguruwe ikiwa uhai, ikikanyaga hiyo scale yenyewe itakupatia how many? Maybe it's 100 kgs. Let's go with 100 kgs. If it's 100 kgs, it's always very important to know that the dead weight, which is ikiwa imetolewa sasa zile extras, imetolewa kichwa, imetolewa hooves, imetolewa ina intestines hizo, small and large intestines zote, always make sure that I pity 70 kg 70 it doesn't go below 70%. Now dead weight is only 70% of the live weight, so 30% goes out. Hiyo ni kichwa na kila kitu. Ukiuzia our brokers ama ukiuzia watu tu huko nje, and it's something that I had with one of the slaughterhouses somewhere that they do buy from farmers, and then wanakuambia we're going tutaenda tuchinja alafu tujue ni ngapi zenye zitatoka, and they even take 40% inatoka yote, 40% unabaki na 60%. So it means if you had 100 kgs in this pig as the live weight, that's what they bought it at, actually it's going to dig into your profit margins again. We're talking about profits, science and profits. It's going to dig deep into your profit margins. So it's very, very important to know that even as you let your pigs go out of your farm, make sure umepatiwa pesa na mmeagree percentage enye utauza. Everything you need to agree, farm gate price, malizianeni hapo. Once you decide to let it go, when I was very young tulikuwa tunachinjua mbuzi ama kondoo, zikienda kuchinjwa huko, zikirudi tunaambiwa sijui liver yake kidogo haikuwa sawa, sijui lungs sijui zilikuwa zinakaaje, zilikuwa a few things here and there. So kumbe watu waliuza, that was quite an interesting business aspect. So they did, wanakuja wanakuambia kitu ni mbaya, alafu kumbe waliuza. So before you can let your pig come out of your gate, that's what it's called, farm gate price, your farm gate, make sure that you've decided on the pricing and the amount that is coming back to you. That's very important. If they cannot offer you that, let there be some form of transparency. And as I've always told farmers at my own capacity, is do not operate on the basis of trust. It's business. Trust can be very minimal in every business because everybody has their own interest. Even the list that you're looking at, everybody has their own interest. So when it comes to trust, na kuamini uende uchinje alafu nijue nini, and even to solve all these things, that's why I want even to us to go next. It's value addition. Value addition has for a long time been thought to be something very huge. Value addition for you, the pig farmer, can be something very small. Chinja tu nguruwe wako. Chinja nguruwe wako tu. Uuze zikiwa utwe kila kitu wewe mwenyewe. A normal pig, as I said, it's in between, the dead weight is always in between 75% to 70% of the live weight. So hizi vitu nyingine zenye utenda uambiwe sijui vitu zilikuwa mbaya, always make sure that you can see them. Operate on the basis of seeing, not just trusting. People are always there to break your trust. But then you cannot blame these people. You cannot blame these people. They're into the business. And that's why you always need to look out for yourself. Look out for yourself by always making sure that you have everything at hand. Unaona ndio hii nguruwe yangu imechinjwa. These are the cages that we have been able to extract. So hata ukiuza nguruwe yako at 70 kgs unajua vizuri, hata ikipita hata iende 60 kgs unajua hii shida ilikuwa hapa. One more thing that brings you and that gives you is the fact that kama nguruwe imeshukia 60% badala 70%, of course as we talk about this percentage, I mean dead weight should be 70%, in between 75 and 70%. Kama imefika hadi 60% of the live weight, it's the high time you also realize that maybe imekuwa inakula uchafu mob, ama it will give you some insights of how you're rearing them, and maybe utarudi mali ulikuwa pia. So there's traceability first, there's the issue of trust second, and now the good thing about value addition is the fact that you get to sell a little bit more. You know, for value addition, it's not even hard. What you need to have, maji moto, you know, ukuwe na of course kisu yenye utatumia kakisu kenye utatumia kuchinja, and then certification kutoka kwa health county health ya animals. Once you have that, you're good to go. Kama ulikuwa unataka kuuza farm gate ya live weight, ulikuwa unataka kuuza 250 bob, kuchinja kidogo tu 300. That's the funniest thing. 300 umefikisha. 300 kwa nguruwe yenye ilikuwa na 70 kgs, you have 2100 shillings extra. 2100 shillings extra can buy you one more bag of feeds for the ones that have been left behind. Inaweza kupeleka nje uende uenjoy na watu wako, you know, can give you some peace of mind also, you know. So value addition doesn't need to be very, very complex. With hot water, kisu, and a stamp your health, you're good to go. The other side of value addition is that you need to understand the market. You know, once you go out to the market, always understand this, that usikuwe na ile market yenye uwezi supply constantly. Unaweza chinja kamoja ka nyumbani unaitia watu, but how many times are you going to do that? What's the repayment plan of these people who are going to, watu wa kijiji unataka kuuzia pia? It's always good to have a structured way of, you know, releasing all these pigs out there. It's always good to understand that a good market can be as good as the old business, you know. That's why you don't leave the business side of this old farming venture. That's why you need to take time, understand the market, even way before starting, understand the market and how you're going to satisfy the needs of the market. Then kutoka hapo sasa utaketi chini ujue nguruwe zangu zikifika 6 months zikiwa na 100 kg zake, well, unaweza keti chini sasa uangalie profits, unaweza pigia hesabu sasa, you know. That's the good side of you know, understanding the market. You know, it's quite interesting. I took some laps around one of these evenings, kutembea Kitengela, understanding different prices. And let me tell you what value addition does. The farm gate of a normal pig say itakuwa something around 50 shillings per kg. Ukunje tu ukiuza nguruwe yenyewe ikiwa inaenda ya kuchinjwa. Once ukichinja, that's 300 shillings right there. Lakini ikifika Kitengela kwa butchery inafika 600 shillings. Do you know why? Because that person incurred the cost of logistics za kubeba huyo nguruwe wao ulichinja na ukapatiana. That's 300 shillings. Uje mahali beba tu. Kubeba akapeleka kwa nini? Kwa of course kubeba alikuwa na certifications za county za kubeba. Lakini huyu jamaa seti alinka pesa nyingi sana kupeleka pale kwa butchery pia. Jamaa alibeba akapeleka kwa butchery akauzia huyo mtu, ama huyo mtu wa butchery mwenyewe ndo alikuja akanunua kwako. Na anauza 600. That guy is making 100% profit. You know, it's quite interesting. And you who has been here for the science side of it, kuamka asubuhi kufanya kila kitu, kustrain water systems inafanya kazi na kila kitu, you get only 100%, or you get only, actually it's even less than 100, you get actually something close to 50%, only 50% of the profits. So why don't you think about going that extra mile? Understand, nikichinja, that's one side of value addition. The next side is this, maybe nikikuwa na, si lazima tu kuwa na pick up here, you can have some structured way. Maybe ukuwe na jamaa mwenye ubeba nguruwe, you know, si kila mtu mwenye anapaswa kubeba animals after zimechinjwa. There's a structured way of doing that. Kuna yule mtu wa nduthi ama pikipiki mwenye anakuwa na kile kinini kikubwa, kibox kikubwa, anakuja anaingiza ndani, ndio upeleke mtu wa butchery. Ama pia kama umepiga hesabu yako vizuri, jiulize hivi, nikiana nifungue butchery yangu pale, how much can it give me? So you're going to sell 600 shillings, even 500 shillings to be competitive in the market. 500 shillings times maybe nguruwe yako ulichinja ukatoka 70 kgs out of 100 kgs dead weight, ukatoa hizo chafu zote ukabaki na 70 kgs. 70 kgs times even 600 ama 500, you have 35,000. Most of these pigs, ukipeleka some of these major abattoirs, ziko na something about 16,000, 17,000. That's where they sell at most 20,000. So you can think an extra mile. But then I'll always advise you this: value addition is not as easy as I'm saying right now. Go understand the market. Jua hii mali nimeweka shop yangu, yeah, ama mali nimeweka butchery yangu. What's the uptake around there? What's the community around there? You know, what's the consumer patterns around there? Kutoka hapo utaweza kuelewa kwamba you can set up a butchery that will inform you. Now you're from the science to the business aspect. That's why I said in every agri-business aspect, you need to understand there's the agri, which is science, and the business aspect, which is, again, business. So those are some of the things. There are very many things I would love to share with you, but, you know, my director tells me that time is close to coming to an end. Well, thank you very much. Ameniongeza dakika tatu. So, as we said, we're going to go through what you've said, the age of the pig. Not many farmers are going to tell you the age of the pigs. Not many of them will tell you how many times it has farrowed, you know. It's always up to you to know. Guza skin, touch the skin, and also look, angalia the komigu, angalia, always look at the joints, angalia venye nini yake na stretch kiamka, hata behavior yake kuamka pia, by the way. It's quite interesting. Kuamka inaamka haraka, inaamka pole pole. Ina mean hata age, hata mwili ishaanza kuchoka pia. So again, there's no pure breed in Kenya. That's another thing that you need to know. Don't consume everything your vet tells you. Always consume what is right. Don't believe in everything. My vet once told me, I had a vet who once told me that nguruwe yako itoe maziwa, so fanya hivi, kimbia ununulie maziwa. Kuna maziwa, there's a layer ya maji kwa maziwa, think some cheese, something. Niambia enda ununue, change feeds, sijui to dry, to soy and winner, and a few things here and there. But then I thought, nimefanya research yangu na nimeona some of these things. I don't need to change. Maybe what you need is oxytocins za kusaidia milk production. Tulipea na nguruwe aliongeza, watoto wake wanakuwa haraka sana. It's one of those things that not many farmers will tell you, ama not many agrovets will tell you, that don't believe 100% of what they tell you. More so, sana if it's a private practice. Public, county governments, they have nothing much to gain again. So, but also always consume information while still thinking about it. Don't consume and implement like a magic bullet. So, time and concentration. Every pig needs time and concentration. Even if it's not labor intensive, every pig needs time and concentration. Usiachilie hivyo tu ziende, alafu ende kwa farm hivyo tu. Formulation of feeds, very important. Very important to know so that you can know what to supplement, what time. Pigs, as I said, don't eat their children. So, hiyo dhana kwamba that nguruwe zinakula litter, they don't eat their litter. Pigs don't eat their litter. Again, as I said, 2 months is the ultimate time to know when you're breaking even. Is where you know that in terms of growth, breaking even in terms of growth. So you need to push, accelerate on the first 2 months. If you put 6 months, just dispose it. Then when it comes to market and value addition, think about it very well. Don't accept nguruwe yako itoke pale kwa farm gate ukiwa bado mjagri price, because again, we are in a very competitive world where everybody is up to making their own profits. Always remember that 70% is the maximum a normal pig 70% is the maximum a normal pig is going to leave behind after imetolewa kila kitu. 70% of it kwa live weight yenye ilikuwa nayo You don't need to have sweet potato veins and also sukuma kales. Hizo vitu zote you don't need to, you have them as long as the food formulation is good. Always inquire about the food formulation. That will also go deeper into, you know, if these supplements are well needed. Also, we have talked about the topic of selling at a tender age versus selling at a mature age. That's quite interesting right there. Another conversation, as we said. Selling at a very young age, tender age, kidogo utachomeka kidogo. You're going to make very little. And the reason as to why people do that, it's so that they can keep the businesses afloat. So you don't need to go copying things from other farms. Always think on your head and think on your feet. Medication, always have budget for medication. Usiassume ni kitu kidogo tu. So you can buy your medication, tule tu vitu kidogo, tuweke hapo tu kando. You don't need to incur costs za vet kuja na vitu zake, atakulipisha zaidi. By the way, when it comes to cash, I won't lie to you. Cash, you need cash to start business. I don't mean so much cash, but then you need to allocate the right cash. Usitake kuwa mkono berika kidogo kidogo tunaachilia hapa feeds hivi mali somehow hii cost unakuja kuincur tena. You always incur this cost. You don't run away from it as much. And the last thing that we've talked about is the importance of research. Research is the thing that will give you a very sound mind that you can always follow. And even if you have some extra thoughts that are being thrown here and there, you know that I did my research, I have my conviction, and maybe if you're going to consume information, know how you're going to consume. Don't just consume like a magic bullet. And with that, we come to the close of the show. I've been your host, Brian Munda, again sitting in for Noah Nasiali, our big time expert who has always been here on mid-morning show. Until next time, pleasure to have you. I'll be bringing you news in the next few minutes.